All right, so it generated all this code, 100+ lines of code. And Snyk scanned it and found 8 security issues in it. Boom, I'm fired. Welcome back to this video series where we're exploring AI coding tools and whether or not they generate secure code and I can save my job. In the past videos, we've covered GitHub Copilot and Codium. If you haven't seen those videos, you can check those out on the channel here, youtube.com/SnykSec. Snyk SEC. In this one, we're going to take a look at Tabnine AI, which is another AI coding tool that has an extension for Visual Studio Code. We're going to see if it can save my job and fulfill the project requirements. Let's check it out right now. All right, so again, we are going to ask the AI coding tool to help us write a Node.js application that lets users create, update, delete notes app. Notes, it's a note-taking tool. So I have already created a server.js file. It is empty. So if you don't have Tabnine just yet, you can go to the VS Code Marketplace, search for Tabnine. You'll see the extension here like this, and you can go to their website and sign up for a free account with them. Once it's installed, this new icon, the Tabnine icon, when you click on that, that brings you to the Tabnine AI chat view. They have the Tabnine protected model. They have CodeStroll, Tabnine plus Mistral, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, Command R, and GPT-4o. Right now, I'm going to stick with just the Tabnine protected one. All right, so the first way we're going to try and interact with this AI to help us create this Node.js web app for creating notes is via the chat. And I'm going to use the same kind of prompt that we used in the past videos where I'm telling it, hey, create a Node.js web app that allows users to create, update, delete notes. This should be production ready and most importantly, secure, because I will be deploying this in the real world. My job is to ensure it's 100% safe for any security issues. So please help me out, AI. I don't want to be fired. But as a code assistant trained by Tabnine, I'm not capable of creating a production-ready Node.js web app with built-in security measures. Okay, so that's good that it's starting off that way. Make sure users, developers like myself and you all know that this isn't an end-all, be-all solution for helping us out in this way. So however, it can provide a high-level overview of how we can create such an application and some security best practices to consider, okay? Here's a simple example of a Node.js web app using Express and MongoDB. Okay, can we just copy that code? Let's copy that code and put that in here. And then security best practices, use HTTPS. Yes, that's good. Authentication, implement user authentication to ensure only authorized users can access the application. Okay. Authorization, implement role-based access control. Yep. Input validation. This is good. This is good advice. Regularly update dependencies and code reviews. Wow, they got a lot of penetration testing. All excellent advice. So that's good. That's well done, Tabnine AI. Well, so it gave us this code. Let's use the code that it kind of gave as an example and see if it is secure. We're going to scan that with Snyk code, and we can see it's already nicely done that for us in the background. And we have 4 vulnerabilities. We have cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, and then information exposure. And they're ranging from high severity to medium severity. Not unlike what we've seen in the past from the previous 2 example AI coding tools like Copilot and Codium. But just to reinforce this, we click on one, we can see more details about that from Snyk code, saying that we have this cross-site scripting vulnerability. We have unsanitized input from the HTTP request body. I click on that. It brings me to the exact line of code where that's happening. And we can see that we are just indeed taking in blindly the request body data that's sent to us in the request without any sanitization. And then we return that right here on line 20. Now, what's nice is in addition to this alert and warning of this vulnerability that was introduced from the AI code, we have Snyk's DeepCode AI that can help us generate a fix. So if I click on this button right here, it's going to analyze the situation of this vulnerability and the context of this code and let us know what we can do to fix this. And in this case, we can just change it to, instead of saying res.send, we say res.json. And if we click apply that fix, and then that vulnerability, once it's done scanning, has gone away. We're down to 3 vulnerabilities now. There you have an example of how Snyk code can analyze this output from AI code and help you stay on top of any vulnerabilities it might be introducing into your projects. That is just one way we can use Tabnine to generate this project code for us, and that is through comments directly in the file that you want to add the code to. So I'm going to leave Snyk up on the right hand side so it can analyze the code as we go along. So as our comment to instruct the AI what we need, I'm going to paste in what we had before right here, and let's see what it does. All right, so it looks like it finished generating all the code based on this prompt at the top here. And As a result, Snyk has found that it introduced 2 medium severity vulnerabilities, a cross-site request forgery vulnerability and information exposure, which not too serious, but still vulnerabilities nonetheless. And that's another example of AI generating vulnerable code. Let's give this one more shot without even prompting it with the comment. Go line by line, creating this API to support the needed functionalities. All right, so it generated all this code, 100+ lines of code, and Snyk scanned it and found 8 security issues in it. Boom, I'm fired. Looking into the specifics of what Snyk found, we have 8 issues. About 5 of them are high, 3 are medium, ranging from hard-coded secret to NoSQL injection. And we could dig deeper into these to find out what's the problem and how to fix them or address them, or if we even need to address them in the first place. So we were off to a decent start here, but it goes to show you yet again that no matter what AI coding tool you're using so far, until we review more, but no matter what AI coding tool you're using, it's likely to generate vulnerable code, and you need tools like Snyk to analyze that code and make sure you're not introducing vulnerabilities because of it. So we saw using Tabnine either in the chat function, which I like that because it prefixed it with that warning basically at the top saying, hey, you know, sorry for any misunderstanding, but you shouldn't be using Tabnine in this way, expecting it to do everything for you. So that was great, but it did give us some sample code, and in that sample code, there were some vulnerabilities. And then we approached it from the auto-completion way, where we were just tabbing through, we prompted at the beginning via a comment, and to keep things fair and even, I'm going to use the same exact prompt that we used with the Tabnine model. We're going to use against the code control and see if we get different results. Okay, so first off, while it's still generating the results there, it's giving us guidance on setting up the project, setting up a database, routes, kind of giving you a highlight of what are the steps we need to go through. And then here's some sample code, or here's a simple example of how you might structure an app. So that's nice. Let's copy that. And if we come back over to the Snyk extension, we could see, wow, 4 vulnerabilities right off the bat. We have cross-site scripting, 2 of those, a cross-site request forgery, and information exposure as well. So it looks like code control doesn't help that much either. It's kind of behaving in a similar way. And let's try in the comment format. Again, copy what we have here and then see if we can get some auto-completion from code control. One little note here, no pun intended with that, is that I'm not sure if the auto-completion approach is from Tabnine, using Tabnine's model, or if it's using the model that we mentioned before, but it's showing Tabnine Advanced Auto Completion every time I do that. Tabnine Pro Advanced Completion. So I'm assuming that this is the same model as before. So we're probably going to get similar or the same results that we saw. Yeah. So instead, we'll go back to the chat and we'll close this chat out and try one of the other models. Let's go down to Tabnine plus Mistral. Note that by clicking on one of the models in the dropdown, you choose the model you will work with, the legal terms. Okay, let's approve it. Why not? Send it. I don't know what I just signed. Maybe my life away, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, boom. Right off the bat, it doesn't give us any any instructions. It's just like, okay, here's all the code for that. This is a simple Node app that allows users to create, update, and delete notes using Express, Mongo, bcrypt, and JSON Web Token. Okay, let's copy the code. Snyk, scan it. Show me what you're working with. We have 6 vulnerabilities, 3 high severity NoSQL injections, allocation of resources without limits. That's a new one. Let's check that out really quick. So in this case, we're doing a call to bcrypt compare. It performs user authentication, but is not protected by any rate limiting mechanisms. Let's take a look at that specifically. So if you're rolling your own login like this and you're using bcrypt to check the password and whether it's valid or not, and the user can authenticate, you got to put some rate limiting on there because you can get attacks in that way. And we can generate a fix using DeepCode AI again. And there we go. It's going to use this npm package express rate limit and then add some rate limiter on there and pass that in as middleware onto that route if we want to implement that. And of course, it's going to, note that we didn't install that, but now that should fix that vulnerability at least. And we can see, yes, it's down to 5 now. That's great. On to the next model. Let's try Claude. We're going to paste in the same prompt one more time. Ooh, I understand the critical importance of this project structure. Look at that. Okay. I want to wait for it to finish. We'll use Express for the server, MongoDB for the database, and implement various security measures. Here's a production-ready secure implementation. It's still writing all the files for me. That's pretty cool. Way more robust answer than any of the other ones so far. And going and going. Okay, it finished. All right, let's start implementing all this. All right, so I got everything implemented exactly as how Claude instructed me to do it. We can look at the project file and folder structure now. Matches what it was saying before. If we go back to the top here, we have config, controllers, middleware, models, routes, and I copy and pasted everything. So now with Snyk scanning this though, it's actually not too bad compared to some of the other results that we had before, but we still have two vulnerabilities. We have this hard-coded secret, which that's interesting that it would introduce a hard-coded secret 12. Why did it do that? That's very odd behavior. And then we have the cross-site request forgery like we've been seeing before. Not too bad of a result, but still some vulnerabilities there. All right, so we've checked out Tabnine protected code Strul, Tabnine plus Mistral, Claude. We have a couple other ones we can check out as well. If you'd like us to go into those and try those out further, let us know in the comments below. All right, so in conclusion, as we can see, the moral of the story continues to hold true in that we should not just blindly trust the code that is provided to us from AI, any of these AI tools, because it can introduce vulnerabilities, and we need to be analyzing those with security tools like Snyk. Speaking of using security tools to analyze the output of your AI generated code, you can sign up for a free Snyk account today at snyk.io. Link will be in the description below. That does it for this video. If you got value out of it, be sure to like it down below and share it with someone who could put it to use. And if you made it this far, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and happy, safe coding, everyone.